Hi guys, I'm Rob Not Zombie, and today we're going to do another vlog because why the hell not? Today I want to talk about something extremely stupid called a trigger warning. Oh, the sound of that word makes me want to laugh. All the social justice warriors, leftists out there want trigger warnings on everything that could be offensive. Well, guess what? Almost everything in existence can be found offensive by somebody. Get over it. If you want a trigger warning, or if you get triggered by stuff like that, say you're watching a video, or you're looking for a video. If you're triggered by something, why are you searching it? Why are you watching a video on it? Have you asked yourself that? No? That's what I thought. Look, I'll tell you one thing. If you're triggered by something, change the channel. It's that simple. You don't like something you see? Tune out. You feel offended? Too bad. That's how the real world works. People don't care if they offend you. Especially people who really like their freedom of speech. Okay? Now, as for me, I don't try to be offensive. I try to be nice. But when you push me over the end, you about to get it. Look, I don't try to be offensive, but if I offend you, I don't care. So you can cry and whine and call out your trigger warning somewhere else on somebody else's video. Because I don't care. I'm going to laugh about it. I'll reply to your comment saying, ha ha ha, look at this weakling who can't even take a joke. Who gets offended by something that somebody said and doesn't know how to deal with it properly. You see, when you ask for trigger warnings and stuff like that, you're basically keeping yourself from the bad things in life. While that sounds awesome, that's not a good thing. Because then when you're exposed to something like that, and you can't prevent it, you won't know how to deal with it. And it becomes a whole lot worse. And it will happen eventually. No matter how much you try to protect yourselves. No matter how many social justice warrior friends you have, something's going to come along and it's going to make your life miserable. That's what life is. That's what existence is. You have your ups and your downs in life, okay? And there's going to be a lot more downs than ups, I'll tell you that much. It amazes me how many people have bought into this. But there is good news for people like me. People are starting to call out the BS. People are starting to realize exactly how flawed the leftist system is. People are starting to realize that these social justice warriors, these people who demand trigger warnings on anything and everything, who demand that they not be exposed to stuff that might offend them in the slightest, who cry out that complete myths about gender inequality and race inequality, who cry out that those myths are true when they are absolutely not. People are not buying it anymore. You're losing fans. You're losing followers. Give up. The world will change, whether you like it or not. I'm too tired to keep this going on, but I want to say that right now because I need to get that out of my system. Because I am so sick of seeing people who cry about every single thing, alright? Now, for some people, if you cry and you're not offended, sometimes that crap happens. I know. I've had that happen. I cry at nothing. I don't know why. Even I don't know why. There's not even a deep, dark thing that makes me cry to it. It's just like a random occurrence where, like, tear duct malfunctions, whatever. I've had that happen to me, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, when something offends you. If you need to cry, go ahead. It's fine. Okay? You do whatever you need to get that stress out, but don't don't demand that people not do that. And people, I'm not trying to say, hey, go be offensive to everybody. No. Don't be offensive unless somebody provokes you, or if they're really asking for it. There's only one place for leftist political correctness in all of those policies, and that's on school grounds. And by school grounds, I mean high school and lower. Once you get to college, we're going to have enough of that. We don't want any more of that. We want the real world, not safe spaces. It's late. I'm really tired, and I have to keep this light on over here just so you guys can see my face, and it's really hurting my eyes right now. Now, what was I thinking of? I'll cut it until I can think of it. Okay, I remember now. Okay, stuff like fat pride and crap like that. I'll tell you one thing. It's fine, okay, that you're to say the least larger than other people. That's fine. That's your choice. But when you thrust yourself in front of people and demand that they recognize you as beautiful, that's when you cross the line. Because I'm going to say, okay, it's your choice if you want to be, quote-unquote, fat. Alright, that's fine. It's acceptable. What's not acceptable is that you decry it as blasphemy. That I say, oh, no, I'm sorry, but I don't think you're attractive. Whether you like it or not, people are going to do that. Because people have their own standards of beauty. There is not one big standard of beauty. There may be one that's more common among people than others, but there is no one set standard of beauty like leftists decry there is. Okay, I for one am not all that picky. I mean, I'll take an ugly girl with good traits over a hot one with bad traits, so but the fact is that you can't just thrust yourself in people's faces and say, hey, look, I'm beautiful, tell me I'm beautiful. It doesn't work. What's the next subject? College campuses. College campuses are where you learn about the world. And let me tell you, the world doesn't want trigger warnings in safe spaces. In fact, you know what? I'll take it a step further. On any college campus, any student who asks for a safe space or a trigger warning should be immediately expelled. I know that's not a popular thing to say, but hey, I'll tell you. In college, you learn about the world, and the world is not going to provide you with safe spaces and trigger warnings, because the world doesn't care. You go there to learn, not to keep yourself away from things that are reality. You learn about reality. You experience reality. And you deal with reality. That's the reason you go to college. To set yourself up for life. And life's gonna have stuff that you're not gonna like. So when you purposefully keep yourself from it and be an absolute baby, that's the nicest way I'm gonna put it, an absolute crybaby about stuff you don't like, you shouldn't be in college. You should go back to your parents' basement and say, "Oh man, please, parents, hide me from all the badness in the world." Alright, next. Ooh, touchy subject. Black Lives Matter. I've got a few things to say about that. First off, CNN lied about Black Lives Matter. There was this woman who was talking out about who created a rally about her brother who had died due to police force, and CNN recorded about 3 seconds of that, the nicest 3 seconds of it, saying, where she said, "We don't want violence here." CNN put that on and decided that was good enough. Now what came after it was not good. "We don't want it here. Take that crap to the suburbs, back to the south. We don't want that here. Go burn down their houses or something." How is that peaceful? That's not peaceful. And CNN had the nerve to cut that out, and then later on when people found out that they lied, they said, "Oh my goodness, we are so sorry. We didn't get that part in. We don't know what happened, but we did not get that part in. We apologize. But now it's okay, right? Our bad, you forgive us, right?" No, you were not trustworthy to begin with, and you're digging yourself into a deeper hole. Do you really expect us to forgive you? Also, Black Lives Matter is not what's best for black people. Because if you really take a look at it, what it's doing is dividing Caucasian culture and African American culture, and it's dividing them, separating them further and further. It's also trying to belittle the police force to get it out of commission. What happens when a country has no police force? There's no safety and order and law. Are there bad apples in the police force? Yes, of course there is, and there always will be. But it is by no means anywhere near a majority. It's barely a minority. It barely exists. There is a video about stuff that Black Lives Matter created, a hashtag called #SayTheirNames, which was about a bunch of African American civilians killed by police violence, or police force, and most of them were not good. They weren't correct. Because, and it's called Black Lives Matter Propaganda Debunked, I believe, and it's by a man named Steven Crowder. I love that guy. He's awesome. He's probably the most trustworthy news source I know, because he actually presents sources in the video as he's talking. And he does take a neutral standpoint, because he does address ones that were actually true, where the police were in the wrong and the citizen had no reason to be killed, and But he also addresses how it was tragic, but what the news sources did was that they shortened it to, oh, this man was shot for broken taillights. Oh, he was shot for selling CDs. He was killed for wearing a hoodie for Trayvon Martin. And I'll address that one right now. Pretty much exactly like he said it. Trayvon Martin was not an innocent man. Okay? George Zimmerman, yeah, he was an a-hole. He was a douchebag, okay? He was not a nice guy, alright? But he was still, under federal law, a citizen of the United States, as was Trayvon Martin. The problem with saying that Trayvon Martin was innocent is that, based on sources of the coverage of that story, Trayvon Martin took Zimmerman, bashed his head into some concrete, and it was pretty bad because he was doing it in a manner to where it could potentially be fatal. Once you escalate a confrontation to a point where that confrontation can be lethal, you forfeit your right to security. Especially if you have the intention to do so, then you may forfeit your right to live. No matter who you are, no matter what your skin color, your gender, your age, your background, your ethics, your religion, whatever. It doesn't matter. Once you escalate something to that point, you forfeit your rights. It's that simple. So, George Zimmerman defended himself. I'm not saying that the guy was a nice guy, okay? I'm not saying that this was not a tragedy, that this should not have happened, and I'm saying this should not have been escalated to that point, but it was. And because it was, George Zimmerman technically was in action of self-defense. He was preventing himself from being fatally injured by any means necessary, even if it meant immobilizing to the max his aggressor, which it turned out he had to do. Still, I don't believe that should have happened. I feel very bad for the family of Trayvon Martin, and I feel very bad for all the families of the people who Black Lives Matter say were killed by police force. They were, but they weren't as innocent as Black Lives Matter claims they were. Let's see, another subject. Do we have any more? Give me a second here. One last thing that I want to quickly touch up on, and it does have to do with, women's rights, so, yeah, no trigger warning. No, oh, this might be offensive to you warning. No, you know what? Deal with it. Abortion. Ooh. Let's see here. People who are opposed to abortion say it's, preventing a new human life from being created. Basically denying an embryo or an unborn baby the chance of life. I honestly am not in favor of abortion, but it's not for that reason. And it's not for religious reasons. It's not for reasons that I've heard anybody else being opposed to it. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one with this opinion. I'm definitely not the only one with this opinion. But I will say that I've never heard anybody else not like it for this reason. I've never heard anybody else say that. I've never known anybody else who did that. But of all the people out there, I'm pretty sure there's somebody who agrees with me for exactly that reason. Proponents of abortion say it should be freedom of choice, stuff like that. I used to be in favor of abortion because of that reason. But now, especially after I heard of new feminist propaganda about being issued free birth control and crap like that, which is absolutely derogatory. In fact, it goes against their principles of strength of women being in control, because it's for the exact same reason. If you have that little control over your sexual actions that you need birth control for free provided to you, you have something wrong with you, and you need help. I'll be Michael Jordan that says, stop it. Get some help. And who's gonna pay for that birth control? Oh, all the men who earn more than the women because of the gender pay gap. Gender pay gap isn't even real. So, you know what? That solution isn't real. Okay? Gender pay gap was created because people did a broad spectrum of people. It doesn't take into account genetically the fact that women, because they are childbearers, are more likely to want to care for children, whilst the father goes out in search for resources and stuff. You see that all the time with every other animal. And it's because it's in genetics. And I don't get why people have a problem with it. Now, of course, it's not what every family does. I just don't. I completely garbled it. I don't even know. I'm about to run out of time for this video. But for abortion, if you have that little control over your sexuality, then you should not be given the choice of abortion, because it was your choice to go out and be a slut and just hook up with some guy in a pink polo shirt after a night of clubbing, go home, do some stuff with him. Now you're pregnant, you want an abortion. Too bad. You chose that. Okay? You chose that. Now you get to live with the consequences, because that's how the real world works. Now, am I saying that it's always the woman's fault? No. No, of course not. Sometimes what happens is that woman gets raped. But even in that case, maybe you shouldn't look so like such a good target to rape. I'm not saying that you're in control of whether you get raped, but you're more likely to get raped if you are basically absolutely smoking hot. Okay? You need to be vigilant of your surroundings, all that stuff. Most rapes are actually preventable. You just got to know, you just got to be aware, because there are lots of signs out there. I got less than a minute for the video. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I just decided to do another vlog, because I felt like it. I'm about to go to bed, got school tomorrow, but I wanted to get in one more video, so, just decided to do this. Why not? Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, a comment, Subscribe to my channel if you want some more of this awesome stuff, awesome vlogs, gameplay videos, stuff like that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!